Fluorescent lights above me buzz like angry wasps. My wrists ache where the handcuffs bite into my skin, and I can taste blood where I've bitten my lip too hard. The detective sitting across from me slides a manila folder across the scarred metal table. His expression says he's seen everything, but even he looks curious about this mess. "Mrs. Park," he says, and I flinch at the name that isn't mine. "Your husband is pressing charges: fraud, identity theft, conspiracy." He opens the folder and my stomach drops. Wedding photos spill out. Me in a white dress I don't remember putting on. Me signing documents with a name that belongs to my sister. Me kissing a man whose eyes promised destruction even as his lips touched mine. "You have one chance," the detective continues, leaning forward. "Explain why you pretended to be your sister. Explain why Korea's most dangerous CEO married a woman who doesn't exist." I look at those photos and wonder how I got here. How one stupid decision turned my life into a nightmare I can't wake up from. My reflection in the two-way mirror shows a stranger. Mascara streaked down brown cheeks. Hair that Renee spent 2 hours straightening, now a wild mess. The designer dress torn at the shoulder. "I need to start from the beginning," I whisper. The detective nods, hits record on his device, and leans back. "We've got all night." So I tell him. I tell him everything. "Welcome back to my channel, loves. Before I continue this story, I need you to do me a huge favor. This particular story is an emotional roller coaster that's going to teach you about the dangerous consequences of lies, family betrayal, and what happens when love grows in the worst possible circumstances. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I promise you this story is unlike anything I've told before. Now let's get back to how Tina's life fell apart. 3 months earlier, I was drowning. Not dramatically, not all at once, but slowly. The kind of drowning where you're still breathing but you know you won't be for long. My studio apartment in Brooklyn had a leak I couldn't afford to fix. My credit cards were maxed out. I'd applied to 47 jobs in 2 months and gotten 47 rejections. My phone buzzed while I was heating up ramen for the 3rd night in a row. Renee's name flashed on the screen with that photo of her I secretly hated. Her in front of her office building, power suit, confident smile, everything I wasn't. "Tina, I need you." No hello. No how are you, that's Renee. "I'm kind of in the middle of something," I lied, staring at my sad dinner. "I need you to go on a date for me." I laughed, actually laughed. "What?" "A blind date tomorrow night. I have a crucial business meeting I cannot miss, and this date was set up weeks ago by some family connections and I can't cancel without causing major offense." Her words tumbled out fast, which meant she was nervous. Renee was never nervous. "So cancel, tell them the truth." "I can't. Tina, please, it's one night, a few hours. You go make small talk, come home." "I'll pay your rent for 3 months. I froze with a ramen cup halfway to my mouth. 3 months. 3 months, plus I'll give you 2,000 cash for your trouble. Tina, I'm desperate." That's what got me. Renee was never desperate. She was the successful one, the smart one, the twin who had her life together while I collected rejection letters like baseball cards. Hearing her voice crack made something in my chest tighten. "Who is this guy?" I asked. "Just someone important. Business connection." "You won't have to see him again after tomorrow, I promise." Famous last words. I should have asked more questions, should have demanded details, should have told her to handle her own mess. But 3 months of rent meant 3 months to find a job, to breathe, to not wake up panicking about eviction notices. So I said yes. God help me, I said yes. The next evening, Renee showed up at my apartment with a garment bag and a makeup kit that probably cost more than my car. "Okay, listen carefully." She pulled out a black dress that looked like it cost my yearly salary. "His name is Junjin Park, CEO of Park Industries. You've probably never heard of him because you don't follow business news, but he's huge in Korea. Like scary huge." "Scary how?" She waved her hand dismissively while applying lipstick to my mouth with more force than necessary. "Just, powerful. Rich. He has a reputation for being ruthless in business, but he's not going to murder you at dinner, Tina. Just be charming, laugh at his jokes, and make it through appetizers and entrees. You can do that." "How would someone like that agree to a blind date?" Renee's hand hesitated for just a second. "Family arrangement thing. His parents and some business associates. It's complicated. Don't overthink it." She spent 2 hours transforming me, straightening my natural curls until my hair fell sleek and perfect like hers, contouring my face, squeezing me into that dress and heels that made me 3 inches taller and extremely unstable. When she finished, I looked in the mirror and saw her staring back. "Perfect," Renee breathed. "You're me." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl, but the thought of 3 months of paid rent drowned out my instincts. She coached me in the Uber on the way to the restaurant, what to say about her job, her education, her interests. I tried to memorize it all, but it felt like studying for a test in a language I didn't speak. The restaurant was the kind of place where they don't list prices on the menu because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, waiters in suits nicer than anything I owned, a hostess who looked at me like she was calculating my net worth and finding it lacking. "Reservation for Park," I said, my voice shaking slightly. Her expression changed instantly. "Of course, right this way, Ms. Park." MS Park, Renee's name, not mine. I followed her through the restaurant, aware of eyes tracking me. The dress, the heels, the version of myself that wasn't really myself. She led me to a private room in the back, slid open a door, and my breath caught. He sat with his back to the window, the Seoul's skyline glittering behind him like he owned every light. Junjin Park was beautiful the way a knife is beautiful. Sharp lines, dark eyes that pinned me in place the second they landed on me. Hair pushed back from a face that could have been carved from marble. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than my entire existence, and when he stood to greet me, I realized he was tall, really tall. "You must be Renee." His voice was quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that made you lean in to listen, that made every word feel weighted. He extended his hand. I shook it, and his grip was firm, cool, assessing. "Yes, sorry I'm late." I wasn't late, but it felt like something Renee would say, confident, in control. "You're not late, please sit." I sat. He sat. We stared at each other across the table, and I felt like a deer that had wandered into a wolf's den. His eyes moved over my face, studying, analyzing. I forced myself to smile. I said, because someone had to break the silence. "Renee tells me you're in business." "Renee," he tilted his head slightly. "You refer to yourself in third person." My blood turned to ice. "What? No, I meant people tell me, people say you're in business." "I see." He didn't believe me. I could see it in the way his eyes narrowed fractionally. "Yes, I run Park Industries. We focus primarily on technology acquisitions and international development. You're familiar with my company." I wasn't. "At all, of course, very impressive work. Which aspect impressed you most?" "Oh God. The international scope, very global." "Global." He repeated the word like it tasted wrong. "Yes, very global indeed." A waiter appeared, saving me from my own stupidity. We ordered. I let Junjin choose the wine because I knew nothing about wine and Renee apparently knew everything. The waiter left and the silence stretched again. "I'll be honest," Junjin said, leaning back in his chair. "This arrangement is unusual for me. I don't typically do blind dates." "Same," I said, grateful for honesty. "This whole thing feels kind of weird, right?" For the first time, something shifted in his expression, almost a smile. "Almost. Weird, yes, that's accurate." "So why did you agree to it?" The almost smile vanished. "Family pressure, business considerations, the usual reasons people do things they don't want to do." He studied me again. "Why did you agree?" "Because my sister bribed me and I'm broke." "Same." "Family expectations. Your family expects you to marry well." It wasn't a question. "My family expects a lot of things." He nodded slowly, like I'd confirmed something. "I appreciate honesty. Let me be honest with you, Renee. This dinner was arranged by my mother and several business associates who believe I need to settle down. I don't, but I agreed to meet you out of respect for those relationships. So this is, what, a courtesy dinner?" "Precisely." I should have been relieved, should have relaxed, but something in the way he watched me made my pulse race. Like he was waiting for me to make a mistake. Like he knew I was lying and was curious to see how long I could maintain the illusion. Dinner arrived. We ate, made small talk. He asked about my education, and I fumbled through half-remembered details Renee had fed me. Asked about my business, and I gave vague answers about corporate consulting that probably made no sense. The whole time his expression stayed neutral, but his eyes never stopped analyzing. Halfway through the main course, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and I watched his entire body go rigid. "Excuse me." He stood abruptly, walked to the window, answered. I couldn't hear most of the conversation, but I caught fragments. "When? How much?" "Block it." I said block it. When he returned to the table, his face was a mask, but I could see the tension in his jaw. "Everything okay?" I asked. "No." He sat down, pushed his plate away, looked at me with an intensity that made me want to run. "Tell me, Renee, how much do you know about corporate takeovers?" The basics. Then you'll understand when I tell you that my company is currently under attack by a rival firm attempting a hostile acquisition. They've bought up enough shares to force a board vote. Unless I can secure my position, I'll lose everything my family built. I had no idea how to respond to that. "I'm sorry. That sounds awful." "There's a clause in my father's will, a stipulation he added before he died." Junjin's voice stayed calm, but something dangerous flickered in his eyes. To maintain full control of the company, I must be married before my 35th birthday, which is in 72 hours. My fork clattered against the plate. What? An archaic requirement, I agree, but legally binding. My father believed marriage indicated stability, commitment. Without a wife, the board can vote to restructure leadership. With these shares already purchased, that vote would destroy me. That's insane, I breathed. That's legacy. He leaned forward and I smelled his cologne, something expensive and dark. Which brings me to a proposal. A proposal. A business proposal. A contract marriage. 6 months of your life. You play the role of my wife, help me secure my inheritance, maintain appearances for the board and media. In return, you receive $500,000 upon our divorce, plus full medical coverage, housing in my penthouse, and a monthly stipend for expenses. I stared at him. He stared back. You're serious, I whispered. Completely serious. The contract is already prepared with your name. I had it drawn up as a contingency after our families suggested this meeting. All you have to do is sign. My mind raced. $500,000. That was more money than I'd ever seen. That was life-changing money. But this was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I wasn't even Renee. I was pretending to be Renee. If I said yes, I'd be doubling down on a lie that could destroy us both. I need to think about this, I managed. You have 12 hours. I need an answer by morning. He pulled out his phone, typed something, and mine buzzed. A document, the contract. Read it carefully. If you agree, we'll proceed immediately. If not, I'll find another solution. Another solution. I always have contingencies, Renee. You're simply the most convenient option. Something about the way he said it